Yeah, hello everyone. Unfortunately, I cannot be with you today because I'm actually on vacation supporting SA Tourism. I'm sending you my best regards from the Garden Route, which for me is one of the most beautiful regions in this beautiful country. And that's also, I think, the aim of the panel today, to bring in more and more German tourists into South Africa, especially now that Germany is not on that famous country list that we are all aware of. I know also Switzerland is on the list. That makes operations as an international airline slightly more difficult. So we are happy that Germany is not on the list, and we are allowed to bring in leisure travelers as well as business travelers to actually experience the beauty of South Africa. And in that regard, we have implemented a first Lufthansa Group flight schedule, which is now fully operational. So we are flying 3 times a week Frankfurt-Johannesburg, once a week Zurich-Johannesburg, and twice a week Frankfurt-Cape Town. So far, we are quite okay with the flights. I mean, there's always room for improvement. And the question is now, what are the hurdles that we need to jointly overcome to bring in more German tourists into South Africa? And I believe we are facing 2 hurdles in particular. One is we need to restore the confidence of travelers as such to travel again internationally, no matter where. And I think that's a great challenge for all international airlines, together with IATA as the global organization, to restore the confidence of travelers that it's safe and healthy to board an aircraft these days. Part of it is also the government perspectives, not only in South Africa, but also in Germany. The German government has issued a travel warning to, I think, 160 different countries. And I know that the situation and the travel warning for South Africa is under revision. So obviously that would also boost confidence for German travelers to go to South Africa. And in that regard, I think it is important. It is an international competition for tourists these days. So why would a German traveler who's now confident enough to travel, and he's convinced that it's safe to board a Lufthansa aircraft, for example, why shall he move to Cape Town and not to Bangkok or Mexico City or wherever you could think of in the global network? And I think there are some really outstanding competitive advantage that South Africa has, that in particular also the Western Cape has. And I think the beauty of the country, the Germans love to come to South Africa. I think that has not changed after the crisis. You know that many German tourists coming especially to the Western Cape in European wintertime season. So we are just ahead of this high season. And I think to convince people that it's beautiful to come to South Africa, that's the easy part, I think. The hospitality of its people, it's well known. And in that regard, South Africa has a great reputation as an international tourist destination. I also remember when the rand was sitting at 16, 17 to the euro, we were talking about great value for money for German or European tourists coming down to the Cape. Now we're talking about 19.5 rand to the euro. We even hit the 20. So the value for money for German tourists coming with euro, spending in South African rand, has just significantly improved after this crisis. And I think that's a great value proposition for South Africa. What I believe is important is that we also focus on the hygiene, health and safety protocols which are in place in South Africa. People are aware in Germany that South Africa had one of the strictest lockdowns in the world. And I think it's now the task to convince people to say, look, you can travel 10,000 kilometers away from home, you get this exotic Africa experience, you can go into the bush, you can go on safari, you can enjoy the beaches, the mountains. Here at the Garden Route, golfing is a big topic. So I think that's stunning, but at the same time, if something goes wrong and people are uncertain, if something goes wrong, you can also rely on the best medical infrastructure on this continent. I think that's fair enough to say, and I think that's also important to give confidence to travelers. Even if something goes wrong, we have a great medical support system in this country. In that regard, after this lockdown, Lufthansa Group, after conducting several repatriation flights, we are now confident that the South African market will develop in the right direction. We also are aware that the customers need flexibility. We have rebookings free of charge also to restore this confidence to travel. We have very attractive promotional fares at the beginning now. We're talking about 8,000 Rand in economy class, 16,000 Rand in premium economy, 30,000 Rand in business class. That's a round trip ticket. If you remember the repeat flights, we were like 17,000 Rand one-way economy class. So I think we do whatever we can to restore the confidence of travelers coming to South Africa. And in this regard, we're also going to closely monitor the demand in the upcoming weeks and months to go. And we will have flexibility to adjust capacity, to adjust frequency if we see demand is picking up. And I think we together as the travel industry, we need to work hand in hand, if that's the travel agents, the airlines, the car rentals, the hotel, the hospitality industry. We need to work hand in hand to overcome this crisis together. We will do our fair share as Lufthansa to bring in as many German tourists as possible to enjoy the beauty of this country. And yeah, having said that, I wish you a fruitful panel discussion, and thank you so much, and best regards from the Garden Route.